Each of us came into the world as a human being. We inhaled the same air, drank the same water, and stepped on the same road. So we felt equal. But long ago, at a time when people still did not understand everything, they strong took advantage of the situation and dominated the weak. This led to inequality. Over time, people began to realize their rights and demanded their rights. Ancient peoples did not have the modern concept of universal human rights. The real turning point in the human rights debate was the concept of natural rights, which emerged as part of the popular medieval tradition of natural law that existed during the European Enlightenment. The 17th century English philosopher John Locke included natural rights in his work, defining natural rights as rights to life, liberty, and property. In the 18th century, two great revolutions took place in the United States and France, and the United States Declaration of Human and Civil Rights were adopted, respectively, both documents ensuring human rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a non-binding statement adopted by the General Assembly of the United Nations. The declaration was adopted in 1948 in part in response to the atrocities committed in World War II. Everyone has the inalienable rights and freedoms from birth. People have the right to live, to move, and to choose their place of residence, the inviolability of their home, the inviolability of correspondence, the prohibition of forced labor, the inviolability of property, the right to dignity, freedom of conscience and religion, the right to life, asylum, citizenship, marriage, and property. Under labor law, everyone has the right to 8 hours of work, fair working conditions, equal pay for equal work, and the right to health. The United Nations is the only multilateral governmental organization with universally accepted international jurisdiction over universal human rights norms. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is the High Commissioner for Human Rights. The United Nations Human Rights Council, established at the 2005 World Summit to replace the United Nations Commission on Human Rights as the authority to investigate human rights violations. The Human Rights Council is a subsidiary body of the General Assembly and reports directly to it. The Council, elected by secret ballot and a simple majority of the United Nations General Assembly, consists of 109 members and 47 members of the states. The Council is in Geneva and meets 3 times a year. In case of emergency, an additional meeting is held.